Baby, healing is lonely. Parts of your healing are going to be lonely, baby, and you have to know that. You have to understand that that is still a part of the process. There are things inside of you that you are working out and trying to figure out on your own. It's lonely. There are people and places that you have to leave alone. It's lonely. There are parts of this journey that you have to walk alone, baby. It's lonely. Healing is lonely. It doesn't mean that you're not getting through it. It just means that part of this thing is going to involve solitude. And you're going to have to just be comfortable being uncomfortable as you keep going forward. You hear me? Keep going.
Hey, welcome to Let's Glow with Nini. I'm Nini, and let's get straight into this video.
This is for the girls who are second guessing everything right now on their healing journey. If you are on a journey of self-love and growth, let me tell you something. It's going to be lonely. You are going to feel lonely because what's happening is boundaries are finally going up. You're finally putting yourself first. You're done people pleasing. You're not putting everyone else's happiness before your own well-being. You're done wasting time on inconsistent people. What happens when you finally start prioritizing yourself first is that all of the people in your life who don't value you the way you deserve to be valued leave. Now, you might be used to getting attention from certain people, but because you're putting the value in your own well-being over attention from unnecessary people, yes, you're going to feel lonely. But whatever you do, do not mistake that loneliness for making the wrong decision. You are making the right decision because you're finally putting yourself first.
I don't think people talk about it enough how lonely it is once you start healing. Like once your discernment starts to grow, once your intuition starts to get better, and once you really start to trust and believe in yourself and your confidence starts to grow, you start to look around you and be surprised by what you've been tolerating, the people in your life who no longer fit, the people in your life who you have to let go of, the people in your life who you just been tolerating, the people in your life who've been breadcrumbing you and not treating you according to what you deserve. It's so lonely when you start to heal because you start to see things a whole lot differently, which means you have to cut people off. You have to distance yourself from people and situations that's no longer in alignment with the person who you are right now or who you're trying to be. It's lonely. It gets really, really lonely. So when people say that they are working on themselves and they isolate themselves or they lonely or they just in their own little bubble, it's not because they want to most of the time. It's just because they having to rebuild.
When you heal, what they don't tell you is that it becomes lonely.
Yo, I'm sure.
Yeah, it becomes really lonely because then you start realizing who's working on himself, who's not, who's doing what they have to do, who's doing the work, who's putting in the work, who's not, who's just settling for who they are. So you start reading people's energy and then you realize I have boundaries now. I'm in a healthy state of my life. I'm healed. I have boundaries. So when you have boundaries, you feel like you're lonely because you don't want to mix with everybody anymore.
Right.
So yeah, that's a huge thing. So healing is a lonely journey, but it's a profound journey because I'd rather be lonely.
But you at peace.
At peace. And by the way, even when people say you're lonely, you're never lonely. My God, the universe, like me, myself, and I, more than enough for me to be on my own.
Yeah.
So I'd rather do that than be at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. I cannot.
Being in isolation with myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get, a lot of people are afraid to sit with themselves. A lot of people like to call it like shadow work, because a lot of us have the tendency to like project onto other people, or we'll experience something and want to point the finger and play victim and all that stuff. And it really took me stepping outside of that and going back to shit fucking childhood. You know what I'm saying? Getting to the root of why do I feel this way about this? Why is this really bothering me anyways? You know what I'm saying? And just really just getting to the root of everything. You know, we have our triggers. Got to get to the root of them because it's really not the person that's triggering you. It's some shit that's deep down in. Yeah.
I don't think people quite realize that once you become a healed person, you also become quite isolated. It's because, like, man, people are not happy in this world, and it's like hard realization to come to, and then you want to be like, okay, everybody's into celebrity tea and gossip and drama and people's drama and people like, I just want to mind my business and then but then at the same time I can't judge them because I'm contradicting myself. I just said I want to mind my business, so I can't mind other people's business. But I'm just saying, like, it would be cool if more people are along this positive vibration journey. But that's a whacked out idea because that ain't gonna happen because we living in hard times. I get it. But then I just gotta say namaste and go back into my little tunnel and be about heal some more, I guess. Cause what else? What the fuck else to do? Like, you just focus on yourself, king, queen. That's all you can really do. And I'm just venting right now. That's all I'm doing.
What nobody ever tells you is that the healing journey sucks. Spiritual awakening It's fucking awful. But it's also the most important work you'll ever do. In fact, I'd say it's the only work to do. And there are 3 things that I wish I would have known at the beginning, but I learned along the way, and it really helps to make this sucky situation a little bit more manageable. Let me share it with you. First of all, it's gonna hurt like hell. You are going to have memories come back of childhood that will cause you to start crying out of nowhere. You're also going to tap into anger that you've repressed, and you will find yourself feeling bouts of rage towards the people who should have been taking care of you in a better way, rage towards the people that let you down, rage towards yourself for letting yourself down. You're going to tap back into your grief and your anger, because those are the 2 emotions that we stuff the most when we come from dysfunctional childhoods. So the next time you find yourself in fetal position in this experience, on this journey, it's par for the course. Don't confuse it for something else. Second, it's a lonely road. As you heal and as you start to tap into your authenticity, you're going to realize that there are a lot of people who have been in your life, and the only purpose that you had them in your life for was to be able to support your belief in your false self, your belief in who you thought you had to be. And a lot of these times, these people are energy vampires. They are gossips. They are mean-spirited. They are shallow. They are not doing the same work that you're doing. And that's no judgment on them. But the reality is that you will end up having to cut yourself off from relationships or pull back from relationships that no longer reflect who you see yourself being and who you see yourself becoming. So you will be lonely. And yet again, that's why it's super important to find a new tribe, a new support system of people who are prioritizing the same things that you were prioritizing, because 9 times out of 10, your circle is going to get a lot smaller. Thirdly, you are going to start to question your sanity. Because at the root of the healing journey, reparenting yourself, spiritual awakening, you are literally deconstructing your entire personality and who you thought you've had to be for decades in order to live your life from your true nature, from your essential self. This means that you are going to question, and if you're not, this is a heads up, you will need to and will find yourself questioning every single thing you believe about yourself, about the world, about how life works. Everything has to be questioned and will be questioned as you are on this journey. But you're not crazy, probably not. You can do this and take it one day at a time.
God says they're going to remove themselves. But as they're removing themselves, and as God is removing people from your table, God said what you don't know is that you have literally made room and cleared a pathway for the right ones to come sit at your table. My God, I'm speaking to somebody. God said the season of removal that you have been in, the season of isolation that you have been in, God said it was all preparation, because the right people are getting ready to sit at your table. The right people that are going to honor you, the people that are going to value you, the people that are going to appreciate you from the first time they meet you, from the first time they see you. You're not going to have to go through a process of suffering. You're not going to have to go through a process of trying to prove your worth. You're not going to have to go through a process of none of that. God said the people that I'm bringing that are about to come sit at your table, the people that I'm bringing that are connected to your destiny, God said these are people that are going to help you. These are people that are going to propel you. These are people that are going to honor you.
When I say lonely, I'm talking about like not just romantic. You don't have space, well, I don't have space for like fake friends, you know, situational friends, seasonal friends, you know, people that toxic trauma bonds, you know, you just want to talk about bullshit all day or just link up and drink. We can't link up and read. We can't go on no trips. We can't do no shit like really push ourselves forward, but we can link up and drink and do drugs. Nah, bruh. I'm good on that. I'm good on that shit. It's just taking my energy. It's just eating at my energy. So it gets lonely because you start to peep shit. You're like, wait a second. This person is using me for them. This person is using me as a distraction. Nah.
Healing internally is a long and lonely road to recovery. Remember that. You heal within, so therefore it's just you and yourself. Because most people don't know what you've been through, therefore they don't know what you feel. And with that, they don't know what you need. Only you know what you need. Healing internally takes time. It's such a slow process, but the scars, they remain forever. And I don't want you to confuse scarring with, oh, I haven't healed yet. I think the scars are actually the most beautiful thing because it reminds us of where we were, what we've been through, and it's also a testament to, you know, your strength. Healing is not easy. Don't ever think it's an easy road. It's just like physical therapy after surgery. It's slow, it's painful, it's progressive, and tons of setbacks. Let time do its thing. Let time do its wonders. And this is also a very important time for you to be selfish. Yes, I said it, selfish. Because throughout our time and our lives, we forget to put ourselves first because we want to please everyone else, our friends, our family, our spouses, our partners, acquaintances, bosses, that we, forget to show ourselves the love that we deserve. And it's subconscious. We still love each other. Of course, we want ourselves to succeed and heal and be good. But life and its tempo kind of makes us forget that every now and then. Also important while being selfish is to stay away from events that could cause resurfacing of the pain. You don't want to jump back into something until the stitches have dissolved, right? Because that wound could reopen again, and then you got to start the whole process all over again. You're welcome.
While going through your healing process, you're going to find at times that it's very lonely. You're not going to be able to correlate your emotions and your feelings into words. You're not going to be able to tell people how you feel, not even your therapist, not even your pastor. Some things you just can't put into words. Healing alone is not uncommon. You'll find that most victims, when they suffer extreme traumas and they're put in the ICU, the only people they're allowed back there to see them is the doctors that are working on them. And then, after they get stable enough, then they'll allow the family to come back there. Sometimes we can be so emotionally unstable that we need to be by ourselves. We need that time to do a self-check and to reevaluate ourselves. When you're going through the healing process, you got to remember you are the one that's going through the healing process. Not the people who you're confiding in, not the doctors, not the pastors, not the friends, not the mom, not the parents, not the sisters and siblings and cousins, none of those people, not the friends. You are the one that's going through the healing process. You might be confiding in them and explaining yourself to them, and some things they're just not going to understand. But you still got to heal anyway. Just as if you were an ICU patient. Everybody's not going to understand the extremity of your injuries. The doctor might be able to tell everybody how bad it is, but the only person who really understands how bad it is the one that's going through the healing process. Their body. Everybody's body heals differently. What might take you 6 months to heal from might take the next person 3 months. Same thing with your emotions and your feelings. When your heart is broken, you are emotionally and spiritually broken. And you have to put those pieces back together again. You have been broken from the inside, not the outside. So the inside healing process is a little bit different. Everybody don't see those battle wounds. You can see somebody taped up, bandaged up with IVs and everything coming out of an ICU, but you can't see the pain of a broken heart aside from how you respond and you lash out to people and you're short and you're snippy and you're hard to get along with. You need to spend some time by yourself. You need to learn to retrust yourself. You need to heal. Don't be discouraged if you're at that point in your healing process where it seems like nobody understands you and you can't seem to get through to people and you just kind of just feel like you're just by yourself. That's okay. That's part of the process. Heal anyway. Nobody ever said that healing was going to be comfortable. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy. And neither was the process that got you here. But I guarantee you, if you stick through it and you go through this tough time, when you come out on the other side, you're going to look at this and you're going to be like, man, I can't believe I went through that. I can't believe I actually went through that and I made it through and I'm all right. But you can't get to that point till you go through it. So it's okay to go through it by yourself, but be encouraged. It's not the end. Greater is coming. Be encouraged through your healing process and heal no matter how hard it feels, no matter how much it hurts. Trust and know greater is coming. Be encouraged.
Those of us who are raised in dysfunctional and abusive and sometimes addicted households are often raised to become what are called adult children. This means that even while we appear to be adults, we obviously age, we have, jobs and relationships, and maybe we have a family, maybe a house, so on and so forth. Internally, we still relate to the world as a child. This means that from our perspective, the world is a scary and inhospitable place. It's not to be trusted. Other people are not to be trusted. There are people who are better than us. Authority figures of any kind are not to be trusted at all. And pretty much anyone can become an authority figure for us. And any number of other habits of thinking that get taken on. But so much at the root of this is the idea that that we're not capable, that we're not enough, that we're not worthy, that everybody else has it figured out and we're just kind of the flawed, ugly duckling of society, and we're never going to be able to have what other people have because we're not as good as other people. So we carry on this idea in our head, this story that says we're flawed, we're broken, we're wounded. And one of the interesting things about the healing journey and about reparenting yourself is when you come to the point where you realize that everybody's got their stuff, the world is full of the walking wounded. And the very same things that can cause us pain as far as our own self-sabotage can often turn into our superpowers if we know how to look at them, if we know how to work with ourselves. One of the most empowering things that I've been able to witness on my own healing journey, as well as the healing journey of my clients, is when my clients realize that so much of their loneliness, right? They feel like they can't find their people, they can't find their tribe. They realize that so much of their loneliness is actually based on their own misperception of who they really are. Not only are they incorrect in perceiving themselves as flawed or broken or not like everybody else, but here's the other thing. They feel so lonely because they see the world through the eyes of feeling like they're a follower and they can't find the tribe to follow. But the reality is that after they do some work, they realize that they feel lonely, not because they can't find a tribe that they fit into, but because they are the leaders and they are the ones who are charged with creating the tribe. And that's a whole nother level of empowerment and healing. So maybe you're just a leader who's forgotten.
You heal from your traumas, when you're awakened, you become lonely because then you start seeing everyone for who they are. You start pinpointing people's traumas. You look at this person and you're like, oh my God, abandonment issues. Oh my God, daddy issues. Oh my God, mommy issues. Oh my God, narcissistic personality. And you start realizing everyone's issues and you realize that they're not doing anything about it and they don't even care about doing anything about it. And you don't want to be associated with these people because once you heal, you have strong boundaries. So you become lonely. But I love it. I'd rather be alone than with the wrong crowd. But at the same time, I have a very small circle, but that circle is so healthy, so loving, so nurturing, so accepting, so warm. It's like it oozes with love. And I never had that before. I have this now. So it's not about quantity, it's about quality.
Babes, the healing journey is a lonely one, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way around it. We talk about elevation and separation, and that sounds real cute, and we like, the alliteration and the nursery rhymes that make us go, amen, ashe, amin, namaste, right? But the reality of it is that when you heal, alchemize, and step into the fullness of who you are, when you activate that for real power, not play, not pity pat, patty cake with it, but when you in the center of it, oh, babes, your power, your purpose, your destiny is going to alienate you from people that you thought would be in your life for a lifetime. And it's not that everybody can't come with me and, I gotta take the high road. It's not even that. It's that God is preparing you to receive people who can hold not just who you are today, but who you are becoming. And so these moments of loneliness are actually good signs and good evidence that you are healing and expanding, because it means that the people that you are surrounding yourself with aren't the people who are going to be holding the next level and iteration of you. And so it might cause a lot of grief, loss, even some chaos. But take it from me, as someone who has chosen healing, chosen myself time and time again, I am estranged from my dad's side of the family, and I have very light communication with my mom's side of the family. But my chosen family, from as close as PG County to as far as South Africa, those relationships nourish and sustain me. The relationship I have with God, with my ancestors, with my community, and with my shiniest self, I'm never alone, even when I feel lonely. And the thing is that I have to remind myself that I'm not alone, because that is designed to isolate us and keep us from community, which is a currency and our divine birthright. So just know you are not alone. Your loneliness is sacred. I see you, God sees you, your ancestors see you, and your only job right now is to be devoted to this portion of the process. You are not alone.
Yeah, I have tried to record this so many times and I just cannot get my thoughts the way that I want them to be. And if I do, it's just too long. But anyway, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you have watched it all this far, thank you. And now it's time for Nini to ramble. So if y'all don't know, I did get the new mic in and I'm going to be talking now. My last mics were not working whatsoever. So I'm glad I bought this off of TikTok Shop. So I have my mic now. But anyway, so healing is lonely. My opinions, my thoughts, my experience. It is very lonely because once you start to actually go through that process and you start to see yourself, you start to reflect on all the situations that you've been through with different people. You realize that these people weren't really for you. You weren't for them. You know, some people, like, it was toxic. It was one-sided. It wasn't beneficial to your growth. It was just a part of the life that you were living, you know. And once you start to see that and you start to see that other people aren't healing while you're healing, it kind of turns you off from being around them, you know. Like, depending on the person, the situation, you know, you can keep people in your life and just limit the interaction with them. But for me, I had to cut literally everybody off that I met from Georgia, except from one person. I had to cut them all off because the person that I was out there, I was trying to find myself. And with doing that, I was going through a lot of different personas and they weren't for me. I went through a club era and these people that I met were in the club era. I went through a film thing and the people I met there were through the film thing and they weren't for me. I went through, you know, relationships, those people weren't for me, whatever. So learning that and growing from those different persons that I were, I had to let them go as well because they don't fit into the person that I am becoming, that I am growing into, that I am healing into, that I see myself as in the future. They don't fit it. As much as I wanted to bring them with me, God kept telling me they don't belong. And when I finally allowed these people to be removed, I finally cried my tears, accepted the fact that I had to let them go. God blessed me with something. Every single time my life got better. Less stress, less people venting about the same BS, less drama, less people calling me to talk about other people. Like, something always happened that just made my life so much better after cutting these people off. So yes, healing is very lonely, especially the longer you get into it, because you're not going to go through each and every person right away. You're going to reflect on the closest people, most likely. And if they don't serve your life, your future, where you're going, you know, sometimes you just have to remove them. And even with family, like, as you start to heal and you start going around family and you see these people been in the same situations for multiple years and they're not doing anything different about their situation but continue to complain about it. When you go around people and they act like they want better but they're not doing nothing about it. You know, you can tell the energy from people when you're around them. I can feel different energies. I can feel when, and actually I can use my eyes and I can see as well. And I have ears where I can hear. And then when they talk to me and tell me their problems, oh, you're not trying to heal, then you're okay being stuck. And this was what a lot of friends, old friends, and you know, I just want to see you do better. I want what's best for you. But at this point in time, that's not what they want for themselves. They just are in a place of just talking about it or using substances to cope with it. I feel like maybe you don't need substances. I didn't need substances. I did use mushrooms at a point in time, but now I don't. I use mushrooms if I like want to get deep, deep, deep into it. I'm talking about like hours into it. But nowadays, I don't need a substance in order to connect with myself and to deal with my issues head on. So I came a very long way in my healing journey, which led me now to this point where I don't have many friends, and I'm okay with that because I feel like quality over quantity. Back when I knew a lot of people from the club scene, those weren't my people. They really weren't. And the people that weren't within that area specifically are still in my life from Georgia. Best friend. But we both were on different times. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else were in a different lane. And I was never in that lane, but I was trying to merge into that lane when it was never for me to be in. So, healing is looking at yourself and changing the way that you are. And as you change the way that you are, you change the people that are not with that. You give chances, of course, but like as you just learn and grow, it's just some things you don't want to be associated with anymore. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. That's just a part of life. If you're not growing, you're doing something wrong. But hey, not everybody was put on this earth to grow. They were placed here to show you what it will look like if you do not grow. And I can tell you right now, it's a lot of people I don't want to be like. I just want to be the best version of myself. I want to continue to learn and grow and do better and always correct myself when I need to. And I will continue to strive for better, happier life, happier me, living